What's going on, everybody? It's attorney Chris Waggener back again for another Attorney Reacts. As usual, I'm going to be looking at a old cops video and just giving you my opinion on it. I'll tell you what I see, what I don't see, what I like, what I don't like, what the cops are doing, what they're not doing, what the suspect's doing to make his life better or worse. I'll try to get into it as much of it as I can. So if you like this, leave me a like. And if you really like it, I'm doing releases every Thursday. So hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. All right, let's see what kind of shenanigans we get into on this one.
In a court of law.
I was an officer in Florida for about 6.5 years, and I've been an officer here for about 2.5 years. The big difference in Florida is really just the type of drug people abuse up here. Methamphetamine is huge up here, whereas in Florida it was more crack cocaine, the city I worked, and prescription pills. Yep. The city now, Springfield, is very busy.
Florida,
it seems to not matter the day of the week anymore. We're headed to an apartment complex. I guess a woman called in saying a male showed up with orange hair and a white t-shirt with a knife in his hand at her front door. And then he walked away and supposedly went back to his apartment. So we'll see what we got.
All right, so let's talk about the approach. Talk about the approach in almost every single video, all right? So in this situation, it's nighttime, right? This cop's out on patrol, I guess, and they get a call, which they're labeling down here as a disturbance call. Information that was given to them by the 911 dispatch operator, which we can only assume came from the person that called it in, was that there's a person, a man, orange hair, white shirt, with a knife in his hand, knocking on doors. Now, that's a safety concern. And it's likely also a crime. It's probably at least a aggravated assault. At least in Florida, that's what we would call it. An aggravated assault is going to be an assault that's committed with a weapon. The fact that he had a knife in his hand, that's going to level it up to aggravated. Aggravated means it has to have a weapon. And an assault would be to intentionally put someone into fear of bodily harm. So and this would be the issue that if I got this client or this person as a client, as a defense attorney, which I don't practice criminal law anymore, but if I did get him, I would go after the intent. Maybe he didn't intend to put the person in fear of great bodily harm. So anyway, they've got to find a person, a man with orange hair and a white shirt. So let's see if they can find somebody that fits that description. And he's got a knife, so that's a safety concern for them. They're going to be automatically concerned that the person can stab them. So they're going to be able to use more force than normal.
I got my hand here. I got a cigarette. You know what? It doesn't matter about how powerful it is when there's 5 or 6 of them down there. It's powerful as if it was one set of
So, what's the deal with the knife today?
Well, let me explain this to you, officer. These people downstairs have repeatedly decided they want to smoke their pot outside.
Okay.
All right. I have, in front of other neighbors, said that do not do that because I could at any time be exposed to going to do a drug test, right?
Okay.
And if it's bellowing up over here, which they don't mind it and they have no problem doing so, then I do have a problem because if you have an apartment and you want to smoke your then you need to go in where you live at, whether you have a newborn child or not, because probably that's where the newborn child come from.
Why are the...
All right. So what was reported over the phone is not what they're getting now that I'm assuming that this is the right spot. Did they go to the right room? Because these are very different stories. I mean, this guy hasn't said anything about the knife. He doesn't have red hair, so he's not the guy. This guy, and he also, he's slurring his words. It's nighttime. I would put money that he's drunk himself. So this is just some, old coot being upset that there's people smoking pot downstairs. One of his neighbors is smoking pot. So, did he call the cops and lie and say, hey, there's this crazy person walking around with a knife? Or was he yelling at them to stop smoking pot and one of the guys went up there and threatened him with a knife? If that's what happened, that's a totally different situation. Like that's going to be aggravated assault. So now, if that's what actually happened and this guy's not being crazy, he's, you win more flies with honey, not vinegar. You know what I mean? Like calling the cops on some people for smoking pot is, their reaction to him, if that's the case, is not okay. But he's also he's not doing himself any favors here. So if they go downstairs and they find a guy with orange hair and a white T-shirt, like it's going to be an interesting conversation.
Neighbors telling me that you're running around with a knife beating on everybody's door.
Because I've had threats. I've had somebody that was just abused and assaulted on my front here.
Okay, so
over the bull that lies within this whole layer of this crap hole that I live in, which I'm getting out of at
there's
the end of the month.
statements about you running around with a knife,
Throwing beer
people
cans
and
off
throwing
the
beer
ledge.
cans is not false. Is that what you're saying?
And at police cars as they pass by.
Oh, I was throwing beers at
Supposedly. Is there a trap?
For one, sir, you need to reevaluate your statement there, because did you see a beer can being thrown at your car?
It was my car.
Why are you going to people that you think are just smoking weed with a knife in your hand? That makes people a little nervous.
Because they've done it, and there was a security guy here.
What was the point of the knife?
This guy's
What was the point of the
brought
knife?
it up. This guy is.
What was the point of the knife?
Because I wanted to ask him for onions.
I don't smell any food, any remnants of food.
I didn't have an onion.
All I smell is beer.
I didn't have an onion.
James, what kind of beer do you drink tonight? What kind are you drinking? What kind you got?
All right, so this guy's clearly thought this out, right? He's used to dealing with police, so he's concocted a story, but he's too drunk and probably too stupid to know what to really say in order to throw the cops off. I mean, he's already basically agreed that he's the guy with the knife, and it sounds like these cops are probably going to cut him a break. Because I mean, aggravated assault is there. Throwing beer cans, throwing cans of any kind at a police officer, like that could be, assault on a law enforcement officer, an aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, right? A beer can's a weapon in the right hands, used in the right way. But he just sounds like he's an angry drunk old man is what this sounds like.
Tonight though. You all out or you got any left?
Well, no, it was Milwaukee's best.
Okay, so why are they throwing on the ground down there?
Be drunk and disorderly.
You not have to use trash cans like everybody else? There's two 16-ouncers, tall boys down there, man. Right there and there.
Well, I don't know.
We're done arguing.
You're going to come with us. Let's go.
Oh, they're gonna
You don't come over here and do any goddamn thing when the mother need to be.
You could have called us tonight.
Creepy.
You could have called us tonight.
Answer his calls.
You could have called in a drugs complaint, right?
Like live and let live, right? Like, keep being a drunk asshole.
Sir, there's ways to go about it. There's better ways to go about it than showing up with a knife to people and threatening them.
But you can't get nothing across these people no matter what.
Call us and call in a drugs complaint.
Sir, I've done that forever and ever and ever. I'm the bad guy.
You're not the bad guy. You just got a little misunderstood, I guess.
What was he yelling about?
We were just yelling at everybody, meth heads in these apartments, and then there's this guy that walked out.
There's a baby
His music got been pulled off, and then he threw the beer cans at his car.
Okay.
And
what point did he have the knife?
when he came down to our apartment,
Oh my gosh, this guy, man!
he walked out this way with the knife in his hand.
Terrible.
So was he holding the knife like he was going to stab somebody with it, or
Yeah, just like this.
okay? See what the knife looked like.
This is a black handled kitchen knife.
And did he cross your guys' door at all, or just this all happened out in the balcony?
With the knife.
Oh,
Yeah, he was trying to bang in the door. Yeah, there's a mark on there. Okay. Go look at it. Yeah.
So initially, everyone's out here, and that's when he had come.
This escalated. This escalated quickly.
The paint all.
So he's actually trying to stab the door.
I don't think I've ever noticed it being all low like that.
He was complaining that you guys are down here smoking weed all the time and stuff. Don't know if that's true or not. Obviously, I don't smell it tonight. But if we're doing that, especially with a child in the home, we need to cut it out. I didn't smell anything. I don't see any traces of it, but I didn't search your house. But let's make sure that we're not doing that, okay?
Hey, James. Listen, you're going to get booked into jail, okay, tonight? You're getting booked on an assault charge because you had the knife and you were making some threatening gestures and statements towards him.
Hey, officer, if you want to smoke your then what you need to do is you need to take it indoors, and they have a newborn child. They choose not to do so, so therefore...
Yeah, they don't smoke cigarettes inside, they say.
Drunk old man
they don't smoke marijuana inside either, but apparently it's conceiving of a child.
Like the old man loses every time.
Were smoking marijuana or
when
something.
They conceived their child, you said?
Who knows? You want to look into that?
That's not really what we're here for tonight, but what is with you hitting and beating on the door? All those marks on the door. It's like knife marks on the door, scratches.
No.
I'm telling you.
That was something else that was done by him.
Were you not hitting on the door?
No.
When they closed it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
They don't like me because I don't go along with their game. So does it matter
like you're
whether it's
asshole.
one or the other? And they're all incognito with one another.
Incognito?
Yes, sir.
You mean cahoots?
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
I'll
Yes,
see you
this
on
is
the
such a good
football.
one.
All right.
Oh, this is why I watch Cops. I love it. I love it so much. My thoughts are this is just the best. This is why I miss doing criminal law. I mean, like these stories, like you can't make this up. I mean, those cops on approach, like he seemed like he was the one that was the victim just by the way he was doing it. In his mind, you saw him cried in the car, right? Like he thought he was the good guy. Come to find out, you have this like young couple with a baby, just basically minding their own business, probably smoking a little bit of pot, but like, I mean, come on, whatever, he wants to drink a bunch of beer. They want to smoke some pot, Yeah, I think the assault charge is I think that's a good one. I think that's good for starters, frankly. The way he was talking in the back of the car, though, being a little bit more serious about it. The way he was talking in the back of the car, he made it sound like he was denying actually stabbing the door, and he sounded credible when he was doing it. And just based off the way he was behaving, he didn't seem like a liar. He just seemed like an idiot, and also misinformed, I think is the way I would look at him. So I wouldn't believe what he's saying, not because he's lying, but because he's not able to fully like see the big picture. He's not able to see what he's actually doing. He thinks he's the good guy, right? He's drank too much. He's probably just a hothead in general. And for whatever reason, his focus just turned on this couple down below. And I mean, I don't know if they're feuding or not. It sounds like that's what he thinks, at least, but just based off what I saw, I don't think that's what's going on. I think he's just being a drunk idiot. So the attack on the door might not stand up, just because unless the man, the husband, saw him actually stabbing the door, because the burden of proof for the state is very high. The low hanging fruit here is the assault. They're going to get him on the assault. How could you not intend to put fear of great bodily harm if you go down and yell and wildly gesture with a knife, to tell people to be quiet? How can you not intend for them to think that you're going to hurt them? That's the whole point, right? Like you would do that, threatening them with harm if they don't, do whatever it is that you want, right? Be quiet, stop smoking pot. That's what he wanted. And to facilitate the end of that, what he wanted, which was for them to be quiet, for them to quit smoking pot, he went down there and threatened them with a knife. So I think that stands. They could also, at least in the state of Florida, like drunk and disorderly. That was a drunk and disorderly conduct. That was something that they could put in there as well. But the assault, I think the assault's that's the real charge here. This is a good one. I enjoyed this one. If you liked it, if you stayed this long, leave me a like. And if you want to see more content like this every Thursday, I'm posting a video. Leave me a subscribe. Take it easy, y'all.